Howdy, Super Mario Brothers, a game that many hold near and dear to their hearts. The only way this game could get any better is if I could take it on the go. Holy fuck, they just made bricks portable? So, the Game Boy. A line of handhelds that introduced millions of people to the wonders of portable gaming. Whether it was the original brick of the 80s, the sleek pocket variant, the Advance, or even the SP, most kids from the late 80s and early 2000s have played a Game Boy at least once. The Game Boy's success can be attributed to a multitude of different factors. It was affordable compared to the competition, it had better third-party support, it was a Nintendo console, Tetris. Nintendo didn't even really have to make games for the thing, they could have just sat there and soaked up all the money from the third-party support. But as is tradition, with the release of a new Nintendo console comes the release of a new game in their flagship franchise. That's right, Super Mario Land is the subject for today. I never actually owned this game as a kid, but I did own the game's sequel and plenty of the Mario Advance games, so this isn't my first rodeo with portable Mario, but it is my first time playing the origin of those games, and I know what you're all thinking because I'm wondering it too. Where the hell did my TV go? Well, while I'm trying to look for my TV, we may as well talk about the game's development. Super Mario Land was being developed as a launch title for the Game Boy by Nintendo R&D 1, who were also the same people who developed the Game Boy itself. Nintendo's CEO at the time had a firm belief that fun games sold consoles. No, really? So he wanted a fun game that featured Nintendo's mascot in order to sell people on the idea of a Game Boy. As I just mentioned, the job fell to Nintendo R&D 1, with the lead producer being the late great Gunpei Yokoi and the director being Satoru Okada. The two had previously worked on Metroid and Kid Icarus together, so they were pretty fit for the job. One interesting fact about this game's development, it was the first Super Mario game to not have Miyamoto involved at all. With that, now I think is a good time to stop talking about Super Mario Land and start talking about Super Mario Land. Also, I'm inclined to mention that I won't be recording this game off of any Game Boy hardware, like the Game Boy Advance SP or the Game Boy Player. I do have those, but this looks way better. Let's just get this out of the way. The graphics are pretty good, actually. In terms of how I think a handheld Mario should look, this nails it right on the head. Everything ranging from power-ups, enemies, to even Mario himself were shrunk down to fit on the Game Boy's tiny display. Obviously, the visuals take a lot of their cues from the original Super Mario Bros. The presentation is very similar, even down to how Mario looks and moves. I don't think this is a bad thing. In fact, I believe that this is a cute rendition of the original game's style. My main issue stems from the fact that when this game gets blown up to a much larger display, it really doesn't look as good. The black and white actually started to strain my eyes after a while. For my face marble's sake, I'm going to play a hack of the game that does nothing but add a bunch of color and change some sprites. Mario's sprite is a lot more in line with how he was drawn in the promotional material, the Goombas are still adorable, and everything is overall very vibrant and nice to look at. But it doesn't matter if the game looks good if the story's trash, so what exactly is the story of Super Mario Land? Strap yourselves in because you're about to get a heavy dose of originality. Mario has to rescue a princess. Well, I never heard that plot before. To be fair, Mario isn't exactly rescuing Princess Peach from Bowser, he's rescuing Princess Daisy from an evil spaceman. Yeah, Princess Daisy, she makes her first appearance in this game. Obviously, she's just a stand-in for Peach, and then there's the space guy named Ditanga. Yeah, the plot's simplistic, but it's Mario. Who gives a shit? The game just needs to be fun. Whether it actually pulls off fun is debatable in my opinion. Super Mario Bros. Graphical style isn't the only thing this game takes inspiration from. Its level design is also very similar in fashion. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing. The levels in Super Mario Bros. Are designed quite well, albeit they are dated, but they can still be a good time. Here's the issue. Those levels were designed with Mario's controls in mind. Those controls are very momentum-based. If you start running and then let go, Mario doesn't immediately stop, he gradually slows down. His jumping also had a certain flow to it. It's very smooth, with his weight being just right to make him fun to control in the air and on the ground. Super Mario Land is neither of those. Mario doesn't really have any flow to his movements. Momentum? Nah, Mario doesn't have any time for that. He's got shit to do. Mario starts and stops so suddenly that making some jumps can be such a pain. And speaking of the jumping, holy fuck! It too lacks any real flow, and controlling Mario in midair is weird. His weight is just off the rails. One minute he's as light as a feather, and the next he's dropping at 1,010 miles per hour. The only thing I can compare this to is a fan-made Flash game from the early 2000s. It just doesn't feel official. Have I mentioned yet that this game is short? There are only 12 levels across 4 worlds. This is is actually something I really like about the game. Since the game was released on a portable console, its short length suits the platform quite well. I may as well go over all the levels since there's so few of them. World 1 is in your typical grassy field like how most Mario games start out. No, we're in a desert. The world's pretty good, nothing too annoying. The final level is inside of a pyramid, and it reeks of Super Mario Bros. World 2 is where the water-themed levels lie, and they're okay. I didn't really care for them too much. They're not bad, they're just okay. Also, this is where we get our first shooter level. Wait, what? As out of place as it is in a Mario game, it's pretty good. Now, is it as fun as Life Force, Gradius, or R-Type? No, but I can at least appreciate the effort. The controls are good and Mario's sprite is adorable. The boss is a seahorse. World 3 is interesting. There's Stonehenge in the background, Stonehenge flying, Stonehenge out for a morning jog. These levels kind of suck. I did not have any fun traversing this world, especially level 2. This is where the controls really start to become a problem because you're trying to do precise platforming while dodging enemies with bad mid-air movement, and it honestly just makes me want to stick my head in boiling water for 10 minutes. The boss is a Stonehenge throwing stone. Moving on. The final world is easily my favorite. Good level design that kinda sorta agrees with the controls. The only thing I hate are these guys that jump around. They wouldn't be so bad if the game didn't swarm you with them after a while. Sure, it's challenging, but it's also uninteresting and annoying. The final level is another shooter. That still feels really weird to say. Once again, the shooter levels are really good. The final boss is Tatanga the space guy, and it's actually pretty difficult. It's not impossible, but you may die like 4 or 5 times. Though once you finally beat him, Mario saves Daisy, they hop into a ship, fly off, and the credits roll. The game's short length isn't really a turnoff in my eyes. I beat the game in under an hour, and it was pretty enjoyable, even with the weird controls. Also, Christ! I hate what they did to the fire flower. Instead of just bouncing in a straight line, it goes all over the place, and it's hard to hit an enemy without getting right up on them. The music is easily the best part of the game. These are seriously some of my favorite tracks in all of Mario, especially the end credits theme. It's so good. But the game at its core isn't great, nor is it bad. Super Mario Land is a great launch title for the Game Boy, but it begs for a remake because the Game Boy release just isn't ideal. I really need to be more careful of what I wish for. So this is a thing. New Super Mario Land is a fan-made remake made from the ground up for the Super Nintendo. The game improves the controls, graphics, music, and I like it. As impressive as it is, however, I think it would have been easier on the developer if they just made a ROM hack instead. The new Super Mario Bros. Look doesn't transfer very well to the Super Nintendo in my opinion, and the recreation of the original enemies from Super Mario Land scare me. Also, these controls are still not great. They are a massive improvement from the original game, no doubt, but they added the wall jump for some reason, and they didn't redesign the levels to take advantage of that, and they still don't feel as good as the official stuff. There's 4-player multiplayer, though. Great. Despite those little issues, this is easily the best version of Super Mario Land out there, so give it a shot if you can. Super Mario Land is a strange one. It was meant to put Nintendo's main mascot Mario on their new handheld out at the time, and it did just that. But so much of this game's core identity belongs to the first game. It has the same power-ups, same general level design, even a similar visual style. To some, this may be a bad thing, but I think this contributed to the game's success. It kept things familiar, so gamers had an easier time accepting the idea of Mario on the go. But it doesn't bring anything new to the table, it's just a Mario game. And that's not inherently a bad thing, but the things that this game does have been done better by other games in this franchise. But this game did end up selling better than Super Mario 3. It sold over 18 million copies, so it clearly did something right. Though I think a part of that success was thanks to Tetris. Consumers bought the Game Boy for Tetris, and since it was a Nintendo console, most of them probably thought, why not, I'll grab Mario too. But Super Mario Land's success just begs the question, if someone had access to all 4 Mario games out at the time, would they be more likely to play Super Mario Land or the console Mario games? No.